Yo, what's up guys, welcome back. Next match, Cross-Banlist Cup, still left side of the bracket. We are at, well, you know, the first batches of duels that, both these decks already lost their games, or at least one match here in top 16 playoffs, so they'll move on to the left side of the bracket, which, as you know, is the losers bracket. We are now at, I think, a rematch. We had this match before in this Cross-Banlist Cup a couple of weeks ago. We have Macro Rabbit, a decklist from 2012, super hyped up format if you remember those days with Wind Up, Rescue, Rabbit, or Macro Rabbit, or Rabbit.tech, plus Insectors as well, right? It's going to take on, well, in this case, Macro Rabbit. It's going to take on a Ravine Ruler. So that's Dragon Rulers post their first ban list. So the small baby Dragon Rulers, they were banned. But the deck still has access to, the full galore of the Dragon Rulers, plus the powerful engine of Ravine. So which deck has the advantage? I think previously Rulers won, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think so. Their graveyard is basically their second hand. We know how powerful the Dragon Rulers are. But the thing is that Rescue Rabbit or, Dino Rabbit has access to Dolka. And Dolka is fantastic against, the Dragon Rulers effects. But, I mean, if Dino Rabbit wants to have a chance at winning, it needs to open like Dolka Pass. Well, Dolka set 3 Pass. And, those 3 being, let's say, Fiendish Chain, the Fog Blade back in the day, Dimensional Prison, Bottomless Trap Hole, to kind of protect, maybe Forbidden Lens, to kind of protect the Dolka from being destroyed, right? Plus, then again, keeping Dolka on field, it prevents, indirectly, the Dragon Rulers from hitting the board. So still sitting on Zen mains, and as I've mentioned multiple times before, going for Stardust against a lot of the old school decks, older decks. Then again, I mean, Dino Rabbit was already in the Exceed era, but still, Stardust power creeps a lot of the old school, format decks, because Destruction, Mirror Force, Torrential Tribute, Dark Hole, Geki. I think Geki was banned by then. Duster or Heavy Storm, Mystical Space Typhoon, those cards that were fantastic, most of them anti-cards, like Typhoon here. I guess you could definitely use Stardust, but, Dolka would just negate that. So it is what it is. And I'm kind of sitting on the Dolka again, just like Fogblade. The Stardust Dragon cannot attack, so my Dolka on field is, protected, and that's so crucial here in this particular matchup. So for now, it's looking okay-ish. But I need to draw something that lets me attack over the Stardust, so something like Forbidden Lens, for example. So again, kind of slowish first duel, but the Granmole. I think this was the same as it was a couple of weeks ago, where Granmole was a super MVP. I mean, it was limited, right? For a good reason, I think so. During Synchro era, I believe was it banned? I don't think so, but I remember it was limited because of this, because it was so powerful, hitting your opponent's Synchro, for example, or even Exceed. So again, Dolka on board without any materials, but I mean, I have so many back row, probably Bottomless as well. Prisons are there to protect my setup, so it is what it is. The Granmole is, in the back of my my mind, but sneaky in my hands. And again, there's no reason to attack with Granmole here, since the Blaster will just get bounced back during the end phase, and I can just keep it on board, for some field presence, kinda forcing my opponent to overcome it, because again, he's running low on resources. The Monster Reborn basically here is just an extra beat stick. Okay, I mean, I probably should have just attacked, no, we know the last card. Yeah, I was about to say the Scarecrow in hand to negate a Battle Thader alike, no damage. But the Blaster was there. Okay, so game number 2 post side tech, and Macro Rabbit is running Heavy Storm, if I'm not mistaken. Sadly, no Storm to punish that. And this is kind of a weak-ish setup at 6th Sense. And what was it? 3 or 4? I guess the thing is that the theory behind that is, you call 3 or 4, and as you know, if the dice is rolled, you roll that same amount, you get to draw the equal amount of cards. While if it's not the number you called, you get to mill that rolled number. So let's say if you call 3 or 4, but you roll a 5 or 6, then you mill 5 or 6 cards. But if you roll a 3 or 4, you can get those draws. So I guess like if you hit that the 3 and 4, you draw 3 or 4 cards. But if you miss it rolls a 5 or 6, you get to mill those, you know, cards. And as I mentioned before, Dragon Rulers, their graveyard is basically their second hand, right? So the theory behind it is something I, you know, could definitely agree upon. And as I've mentioned before, Stardust just, you know, just power grabs so many cards before it. Torrential Tribute, kind of hoping that there wasn't enough damage on board, but Macro Rabbit, Dino Rabbit old school back then as well, kind of struggled with a lot of high attack beat sticks, right? So Dolka Pass set 2, that's okay, but we know that the deck has access to a Wing Blast, right? To immediately answer a potential Dolka. So a Wing Blast is there, I think you need to, right? It could potentially lead to another Dolka, especially, you know, because of Forbidden Lands here in, at least it was set protecting potential Leviair or Dolka from, you know, being Wing Blasted. And again, the 6th Sense. Well, 6th Sense, what was it? Call 5 or 6? And draw 5 or 6. So it was looking really good for Dino Rabbit here in this game, but that 6th Sense, drawing, what was it, 5 or 6 cards? That's just a super turning point, and I probably, in hindsight, should have negated the 7-star sword. It's very similar to, like, you know, stun using Extravagance. You're probably going to Ash Blossom that, right? That Extravagance, because again, you don't want to give your opponent too many traps, too many floodgates, or answers to your field. And, yeah. Skill Drain as well, and the Scare... I mean, the only way that I might still have had a chance was to, you know, deal damage. Even though I'm super low on resources, at least at a disadvantage. You know, if your opponent reaches 0 life points, you win. But Scarecrow says no. And yeah, this is just too big to overcome. The Rescue Rabbit, I think, is not live. Sangan is not useful. Sabersaurus is just that vanilla beatstick, and Bottomless Yup, as I mentioned before, not useful. So 1-2 behind. Okay. Nothing lost just yet. Again, I can go first, and this is an okay-ish opening hand, but normal summon Card Trooper into your opponent's Thunder King is... Whew, that's an iffy one, because you get to mill 3 cards with Card Trooper, plus you can, you know, crash with your Card Trooper in the Thunder King, and that leaves you or gets you another draw. So I need to protect the Thunder King at all cost. But again, the Wing Blast is there, I lose it. The problem is that I'll draw it as well, so that's a huge deal. And that normal summon Sabersaurus is definitely not too powerful. And do I have a Bottomless set, or am I waiting on the potential follow-up play? In hindsight, yeah. Or, I think I have a Torrential Tribute set, because if it wasn't for Torrential, I probably should have Bottomless the Redux. I think so. Yeah, Torrential is set. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. But again, this feels like not too great, because again, we know the Thunder King is there. It's okay-ish. But, I mean, the rulers are still in the graveyard. The only thing you need to do is special summon the Dragon Ruler, right? Thunder King cannot negate that summon. And, okay, it prevents the searches if you banish one of the rulers, but it's not paying off. And, yeah, another Redux hits the field, a couple of searches, and I guess you could go for Dracossack, but I should reread, what is it called, Guaiba in my hand. I believe when Guaiba destroys a monster by battle, I don't think it needs to send a monster to the graveyard, right? I think so. So no tokens to attack into, Redux has too much of a defense, and this again feels like a super power creep move. I have to make Utopia to attack your, you know, Suicide Crash into the Stardust Dragon, and yeah, this... I needed something like Grand Mole plus Protection, right? But again, Grand Mole being stuck at 1 during that format kinda hurts. So it is what it is. Dragon Rulers slash Ravine Rulers has this match won this one 3-1, and in hindsight, at least in all honesty, I think we have a well-deserved winner. So Macro Rabbit is out of the tournament, and Ravine Rulers will eventually take on Chaos in one of the, you know, future videos. But next matchup, left side still bottom bracket, we have True King Dinosaurs. It has been a while, a couple of weeks. It's going to take on another, you know, familiar face, being Gandora x FTK. So which deck is going to take this one? Feel free to leave your predictions. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lead me signing out. Peace.